Hey, how was everybody? All right, I'm Crystal. This is the face of a tired person, tired gal. Hi, Kate. I'm tired today, but I'm here. Yay! Just got done eating dinner and feeding the kiddos, so we are ready for some yoga. Pardon the mess. All right, I think we're going to get started. A couple more people are hopping on. Let me text a couple more people, see if she's popping on. And then we'll get started. Oh, hello. I've got another person here. I don't know who's here. All right, I'm going to see if I can throw up a, if you'd like it, another playlist. I think you can still see me, and that's okay. Oh, okay. I don't know who else is on here, but I'm glad whoever is on here. Hello, hello. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes. Normally in the studio, I always start right on time, but because everybody's kind of still getting set up and loaded and all that good stuff, I like to hold on just a minute. Copy playlist link. I'm live streaming. And there's a playlist for you if you want one. Let's see here. I'm giving my let's see here. All right. So just as a setup, I've got my mat here. You don't have to have a mat. You can have whatever space you'd like. Playlist. All right. And always for Restore, I have all of my plethora of props. In my case, it is like a gazillion couch cushions or throw pillows. And I have a strap and I have a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, oh my gosh, not that big of a deal. You don't need one. Class is about an hour, give or take. And we are going to get started, and I'll give my, oh, hello. I think she popped on. And just, okay, there she is. Hi, Vicki. Yay, glad you're here. Okay, make sure you have your strap. Make sure you have any pillows you want. I think I have 5 or 6 pillows here. And we are going to get started, and we're going to start today in seated, just because I think it's nice to start that way. Got my Kansas shirt on. And even while I was recording another class this weekend, I was talking in that class and theming about how this past weekend was commencement, a graduation weekend for a lot of folks, whether you're graduating from college, whether they were graduating from high school, or even my niece, our goddaughter, was confirmed this past weekend. And we had every intention of making it, but she lives several states away and we weren't able to make the trip, obviously, due to our quarantine. And so I don't want to talk about quarantine today, but instead I want to think about achieving a goal and what it's like when you finally are able to reach your end goal, and what all the stuff that you have to do starting from point A to get to whatever you want to call your finishing point, Z or B or whatever it is, all that stuff in between, we have a tendency to think it's super duper duper hard while we're in the moment, super duper taxing. Maybe we even have thoughts like, I can't do this anymore. But then for whatever reason, when you get to the end, you really don't think about the hard stuff. You think about how proud you are that you accomplished your goal, or that you made it that far, or that maybe you can't even believe it, but you're here. Whatever it is. So instead of thinking about the graduation as something that to lament in the sense that it wasn't how it has usually been done or how people had pictured it, I want you to think about life, your practice, everything in terms of a start to finish and the journey along the way. And instead of the journey along the way being something that you look back on and you go, oh man, I missed that. Think about that journey along the way as enjoying every single moment while you're there. So I want you to enjoy every single pose that you're in tonight. I want you to breathe deep, just like we always do, and really focus your brain on inviting yourself into letting all of your distractions go by the wayside so you can be truly present. So when you're ready, sit up super tall, shut down your eyes, and maybe you focus right now as you begin to start your practice with a little meditation about eliminating distractions. And what does it feel like for you to be completely present in this moment? Begin to deepen your inhales and your exhales. And you can do whatever kind of breath you need to in order to slow your breathing down, to fill up all of your lungs into your belly with air, and then slowly release it. This sort of conscious breathing, we call it Ujjayi Pranayama in yoga, and it's literally translated into victory over mind chatter. So Ujjayi, that's victorious. Pranayama is breath. So it's your victorious breath. That's what I want you to think about with your breath today. Your breath being victorious, marrying with your physical state, your physical body, and eliminating everything that you don't need for your practice. When you're ready, open up your eyes. I want you to sweep your hands up over your head. Take a big reach in. We're going to take a seated mountain pose. Relax your shoulders. My sweatshirt's not doing a great job of showing, but you want to avoid having your shoulders up high. You want to relax them down. Turn your pinkies in to face one another and sit up super tall. As always, if you need to at any point, if you notice when you're sitting up super tall that you still round through your shoulders, get some height underneath your glutes and your booty. Maybe sit on a pillow or two. If you have a block, you can sit on a block. You're really wanting to line your shoulders up over your hips. Sit up super tall here. And just reach your hands up over your head. You're not in any hurry. Just feeling the stretch. Good. Inhale here. And then exhale. I want you to draw your right arm down and place it gently kind of in the small of your back. And then gently bring your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. We're just going to do a gentle twist to start. No drastic moves here. So there's a song I teach kids yoga during the school year when we have school. And there's a little song that we sing that goes with this, our little extend and stretch song. And that's all we're doing right now. You're extending through your spine and stretching. Your spine moves in 6 directions. So you're just moving in one of those directions right now, stretching your spine. Sit up tall. Remember, don't force anything. So there's a big difference between force and strength, and strength can be coincided with power, right? So force, when you think of like someone who's influential, that has a lot of, control over people, maybe like a leader or whatever, when they lead, a good leader, when you think about like a good leader, whatever that is, that could be a leader of a country, it could be a leader of a household, it could be a principal, whomever, a boss, CEO of a company. Generally, the best leaders don't lead by force. They lead with strength. Maybe they have some power in their words or what they're saying, but it's not force. Wherever you are, take one more exhale here. And inhale, bring your body back to center. Roll out your shoulders from side to side and just go circles. Maybe you reverse your circles to start with. Nice, big, slow circles. And then bring them forward and back, reverse. Now, whatever direction you were going, go in the opposite direction. Take your time. You're not in a race. When you're ready, go ahead and gently sit up tall. Bring your hands up over your head. And then exhale. Set your left hand down behind you, close to the small of your back, and place your right hand on the outside of your left thigh. Continue to sit up tall. Again, if you need to support your glutes and your hips, feel free to do so. You're really wanting to twist right through your midsection. Maybe a little bit at your waist. Just as you're twisting right now, take note of how you feel throughout your midsection right now as you're twisting. For me, I'm kind of getting I feel a little tight right now. So I'm going to take this opportunity to think about in my brain and send my breath and my energetics down to my midsection and think about opening up as I'm wringing out, as I'm constricting and twisting. I'm letting go of the things that I don't need, that don't serve a purpose for me anymore. So that when I'm done and I can untwist, I'm nice and long. Have lots of room in between each vertebra, between my ribs. And not just physical space, but emotional, mental, spiritual space as well. Relax your shoulders away from your ears, even as you sit here. And when you're ready, take one more big breath in. Exhale, find one more energetic deepening through your left side. Inhale, bring your gaze back to center, spine to neutral, and do just one more, 2 more, 3 more of your shoulder shrugs. Switch your direction just to reset your spine back to neutral. Good. And when you are ready, take your head, sit up super tall, and just gently, with your right arm, bring it up over and just guide your head gently to your right. Find your sweet spot. So your head's off to your right, but you're feeling the stretch in your left side. Again, no pressure here, no force. Another great example of strength versus force. So there is no force. When you force your neck to do something, usually results in a not so favorable outcome. When you gradually use your hand as a pillar, as support, and your neck can find those spots, you can find it on your own. Sorry, I'm going to grab my water over here. Then that's where the growth happens. Not by yanking your head over with force and then forcing your neck to find that spot. Sit up tall. Continue to breathe deep. And as always, you're welcome to move your neck forward and back. Find that spot that feels so good to you. But then at the same time, maybe you move around and find another spot that needs to be worked out. Sit up tall. Make sure that both of your shoulders are relaxed. You're rounding down through your sits bones. Pointing your bottom ribs down, not forward or not out, but down. Elongating in your spine. Inhale here. Exhale. Find one more energetic deep pull. And inhale. Come on back up to center. Rest your head down. And in between this, we're going to take some seated cat-cow. So inhale, cow pose. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Shine your chest forward and just slightly lift your gaze. And then exhale, cow pose. Tuck your chin in. Hollow out your chest. Bring your chin down to your chest and really make your elbows out wide. And then inhale, back to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Last inhale, up. Go ahead and extend your left arm out. Reach up and around and grab the outside of your right by your temple, a little behind it. Again, gently. All I'm doing here is I'm literally just placing a light touch on my right side. So if I were to remove my left hand, there wouldn't be that much difference. It's just a little bit of a feeling. There's a cute little head popping up back there in the corner. Oh, she just went down because she got noticed. I think another cute little body is going to come. Just sink down deep in through your glutes. Sit up tall. Just breathe. You got one more minute here, so just relax. Find a little softness through your right hand as well. Relax your right shoulder. Again, you don't have to be static here. If you find one spot and you feel like you've really worked it out, go ahead and move your neck just slightly, and maybe you find something else. Maybe you tilt your chin forward or down. Yoga does not require you to show up and be perfect in each pose. In fact, there's never anyone's asking you to do that. That's not yoga. Yoga is wanting you to show up just as you are And use this pose, especially how it feels for you. That's what you do. One more big breath in. Exhale, one more energetic reach to your left. And then inhale, release, and come all the way back up to center. Stretch your neck out. Forward, just roll it out. Switch directions. And then inhale, come back up to center, and we're actually going to stay seated. If you haven't done so already, I would like to encourage you to grab something that's going to lift your glutes just slightly off your mat. If you have a mat, another option is to roll your mat up and you can sit on the base of it, just a little height. I just have not a very cushy one, but it adds me maybe like a half inch, maybe an inch of height. And I want you to sit on that. We're going to come into a seated butterfly pose. So bring your toes to touch. Now sit up super tall. I sometimes have a tendency to feel this and on the outsides of my knees right here. And so if you have anything to offer support underneath your thighs or your knees, go ahead and place it there. If you don't have a block, that's great. You can use a book. I've got balls over here. You can use a pillow, whatever works if you need that support. If you don't worry about it. But I want you to sit up tall. Again, you've got the height. Your spine is nice and long, shoulders stacked over your hips. So we're here, got my little height here. And then drape your chest forward. So it's not so much about rounding through your spine and coming down like this. You really want to hinge forward with a nice long spine. So as you hinge forward with your long spine, hinging forward at your hips, and don't worry about how far your heels come in. You don't have to have them in as far as they can go. But find that hinge and feel your inner hips right here, your hip flexors and your inner thigh. That's what you're working to stretch. Now, here's the beauty of yin or restore yoga, is that when you lower down with a nice long spine, probably not going to get as low as you would as if you would round your shoulders and reach that way. But you've got the ability to grab some props. Use these props to help you relax and rest your chest or drape your chest forward. Once you've gone as far as you can go with your nice long spine, then you can ease into your props. We are going to be here for 4 minutes. And I'll give you a cue about halfway through that if you want to find something. I found that the first minute that I'm in this pose, it's kind of like your body's adjusting, right? If you think about going to college, it's like your freshman year, right? You move into the dorm. You're still trying to figure out the lay of the land, how the schedule works, what food to eat at the cafeteria, what food not to eat, when the best time to go is to avoid all the lines, all that stuff, right? So that's what the first minute in a yoga restore class is like when you're holding this pose. It's like, ugh, what am I supposed to be doing here? How does this work in my body? And then second, third, fourth minute, that's when you find your groove. And maybe even after your second or third minute, you're like, you know what? I can actually go a little bit deeper. I've learned a little bit more. I found my lay of the land. And I want to take this a bit further. I want to study more. And that's great. So I will cue you. We've been here about 1 minute. And I'll stop talking. I want you to really think about hinging forward at your hips, though. Really think about bringing your hips behind you and your booty behind you and having a nice long spine. You're about halfway through right now. So maybe there's something deeper that you want to explore, that you want to find. Go ahead and find it right now. You can close your eyes down. Just kind of get lost in the moment. Be present in this moment right now. You got about 30 more seconds here. And this class is all about comfort and your comfort. So try not to force anything. If you're feeling any pain anywhere, any numbness, any tingling, go ahead and ease out of whatever you're doing. And don't go in it as far. Nothing great was ever accomplished through force. Try not to force your body into any pose. Got about 20 more seconds here. Take a big breath in. Exhale, find one last sink into the pose. And then inhale, come on all the way up to a seat. Go ahead and remove any props that you might have. Continue to sit on your pillow or bolster or whatever you have. We're going to take the stretch just a little bit further and then we'll lower down. So now I want you to, and my feet are out of the shot, but out of the frame, but flex your toes up back toward your face. And I'm going to actually get a little bit more height. If you find that when you're sitting, and this is what your body wants to do when you sit, slouch forward and round through your shoulder blades. The best thing, honest to goodness, that I can offer you is height here. And honestly, miraculously, you're allowed to sit up, able to sit up a little bit taller. I want you to sit up tall, spread your feet apart wide, and then draw your bolsters, your pillows, whatever you have. Inhale, and then exhale, hinge forward with a nice long spine. You can relax your hands, you can reach out towards your ankles. My guess is now that the sensation is going to be a little bit different. Still maybe in your inner thigh, but some now in your outer thigh as well. Or even down in your hamstrings and your glutes. Get as many pillows as you need to support. I even put mine up kind of like stack them so I can hug them. So that I let my spine go really, really, really long. And I can use that as a rest. So one of the things that I was talking about in my class is that when I was in college, and I had a bonus year even. So I was a fifth year senior when I graduated because I switched my major late. But I was in such a hurry to graduate. was in such a hurry to graduate that I actually took like 20 hours my last semester and like 21 hours or something my second to last my last year. I mean, I just like ridiculous amount. So that I really didn't have a whole lot of time to do anything but go to class, study, and do my work because I was so laser focused on getting done that I wanted to be out in the real world. I wanted to have a job. I wanted to be making money and, living on my own and not living, off student loans and all of this stuff. And we all know now that once you graduate, once you get into the grind of having a real job, it's like, what was I thinking? Why in the world was I in such a hurry to leave? But when you're in the thick of it, your perspective is so different than, hindsight's 20/20, than your perspective looking back. But the same thing can go when you're here in these poses, or when you're in any yoga practice for that matter, a really hard power class or a class where you're using weights and doing lots of cardio, or even one of these classes where it's forcing you to get a little bit more uncomfortable or encouraging you to get a little bit more uncomfortable in areas where you normally wouldn't want to do that. I'll be honest, I don't normally sit like this unless I'm practicing a yin yoga class. But as you're here, you're like, oh my gosh, how much time do I have left? When is the time going to go away so I can be done? But then once you're out of it, you realize the effects and how effective it is and how thankful you were that you had all of that time. Yoga to me is so much reminds me of, that whole idea of college or school or doing something hard to achieve an end result, college or degree or to get a job or whatever. In yoga, the end result is so different, right? It's not even for me a physical end result as it is just a complete and total feeling like you have come into a different space, not only in your body, but in your head. Got about 30 more seconds here. Maybe you find something a little bit deeper. Maybe you can remove a pillow. You need to shut that volume off, please. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, find one more deep sink. And then inhale, slowly start to come up into a rise. Whoo! I want you to move everything in now. We get to lower down. Yay for that. So remove anything that you're sitting on. We're going to use these things that you were sitting on, but we're just going to relocate them just temporarily to come into a reclined butterfly. So we were in butterfly earlier where we were sitting up, but this time I want to do it in recline. So I want you to take a pillow or two even and place it right underneath. So it's going to come right beneath your shoulder blades. So the idea here is that you're opening up through your heart and you're sinking your hips down. And then open up your arms. Maybe you shut your eyes down. Maybe you even lift the pillow a little bit higher so you can gain a little bit more height through your chest. Point your tailbone down and forward. And again, if the outsides of your knees need a little bit of support, give it to them. We are not here to damage our bodies or to force them to do anything to the point of pain. So this for me is the most comfortable position I can get while opening up through my heart and still keeping my hips grounded and open. And we'll be here for about 3 more minutes. Option here to shut your eyes if you haven't done so already. And thinking about, so right now, it's kind of the opposite of what we've done in our upper body. Now we're exposing ourselves. Now we're letting our chest be the highest point in our body, squeezing your shoulder blades together, lifting your chin a little bit. You're exposing your heart. You're opening yourself up to some vulnerabilities, maybe physical, maybe emotional, spiritual, whatever it is. And maybe you think about what has been making you most vulnerable lately. And maybe you explore that. Maybe you find out what is it and why. Why do I feel vulnerable when I expose myself? What is it? Am I afraid of judgment? Am I afraid of criticism? Am I afraid that I will be laughed at? Is it just a lack of confidence? You're afraid that, for me, that's a big one for me. So what if people think I actually don't know what I'm talking about? When I'm as qualified as the next person to do this, but I do have to remind myself often that being confident is a task. And I have to work on it every single day. That's one of my vulnerabilities. So what is it? What is it that you have to continue to work on? What's your end goal there? What's your starting point? And what would your end point look like? In a perfect world where there were no criticisms, were no harshness, were no judgments, what would it look like for you? How would your vulnerability go away? What would be different about you? Got about 1 more minute here. Take 1 more big breath in wherever you are. Open mouth exhale. And slowly turn to your right side and remove anything underneath your shoulders. And then take your, whatever you had that you were sitting on before to get a little bit of extra height and place it right underneath your tailbone. There's a little flat spot there at the base of your tailbone. If I'm getting like really not technical at all, it's like right above your booty crack is kind of where you want it. That's where you want to have the center kind of your pillow. So you're wanting your hips to be elevated now as opposed to your heart. We're going to come into a supported bridge is what this is called. If I had a block, that's what it would look like with pillows. I've got a block. If you have a block, want to know what it looks like, place my block right here, right underneath my tailbone. Now my shoulder blades, still squeeze your shoulder blades together. Still lift your chest. Head flat on your mat. And point your tailbone down. And you can have as many pillows or blocks as you need to. You can go high, or you can go really, really, really low. Make sure that your feet are about hip width distance apart and all of your toes are pointing forward. That would be the biggest thing that I would say lining up in this. So you don't want your feet to be in or out. You want your toes to go straight ahead and lined up with your hips. And then just because I'm assuming most of us are using couch pillows or some sort of comfy pillow, I'll do that too. Lower down. And find the lift through your hips. I want you to feel like you're getting a nice, good stretch in your low back and then also through your hip flexors. If you're still feeling like, you know what? I could probably go a little higher. Maybe you add another pillow. I'm never going to be able to get off of this thing. Maybe you add another pillow. And then lower down. So one thing that I do want to stress here, and I'm going to look straight ahead, is neck safety. So when you're in any pose like this, in bridge pose on your back, you do want to make sure that your neck stays nice and long with your spine. Avoid looking from side to side or kinking your neck in any way. Even if you're not facing the screen, no need to look at me. Avoid looking at me. Just listen for my voice. And now is a great opportunity, as good a time as any, to really settle into your breath. Deep breaths in. As you breathe in, fill up your whole belly with air. And then as you exhale, release. And that's the cool thing about yoga too, is that in a lot of classes, a lot of instructors will encourage your breath to be audible. That was really weird for me when I first started doing yoga, because I was like, I hear all these people breathing and it sounds weird and I don't want people to hear me breathing. Totally over it now. But especially if you're in a safe space in the comfort of your own home, practicing by yourself or with a loved one, take deep breaths and then audibly exhale. Maybe you constrict your throat at the very back, and so it's a slow, audible, almost like you're trying to whisper something. In doing so, just like that, you are telling your body, your central nervous system, you are telling everything inside your body to just slow down and take a break. You are saying, I am not in a panic situation. I'm not in a situation where I need to be angry or frustrated or anxious about anything. I am completely calm in my environment. That's what that breath is telling your body. It allows your heart rate to slow down. Lowers your stress levels. We've got about 30 more seconds here. And we're going to go into waterfall after this. If you have a strap, you may grab it, but you certainly don't need one. But waterfall is eerily similar to legs up the wall. However, you've got the support underneath your low back. So in waterfall, keep your pelvis lifted and then lift your legs straight up over your head. If you'd like to, you can always wrap the strap around your feet and draw your feet closer toward your face to get a little bit more intense stretch. I personally like waterfall just as it is because my hips are supported. My toes are flexed back toward my face. Allows me to elongate through my spine. Again, relax your neck. Make sure you're not straining on either side. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to tell you too, the difference that having your hips, the support underneath your hips make. If I were to remove these blankets and just lift my legs up straight, it is so much harder for me physically to keep my legs steady and straight up my hips. They have a tendency to go like this, or my knees bend, or my hip flexors and my hips are so tight and it's not as accessible in my body. So when I have my hips lifted a little bit and supported just a little bit, it becomes so much more accessible in my body. In yoga, never, ever, ever shy away from the use of props. Props are there to help you. They allow you to feel the pose in your body in different ways. Props are like the best thing ever in yoga. So really embrace it. Got about 2 more minutes here. Root your tailbone straight down into your space, wherever that is. Root your spine down. Maybe you turn your palms up. I like the idea of having my palms up because it makes me think that I'm receiving something, whatever it is. Even as we do these virtual classes, it makes me think like I'm feeling the energy from those of you who are present. I know it sounds really woo-woo and really yoga-y, but there's something to be said. There's something really cool that happens when we come and we practice together, when we breathe together, when we move together. Got about 1 more minute. Try to keep your toes flexed back toward your face so your foot's nice and flat. That way you can stretch up through your heel, find a little bit more lift. Wherever you are, take one more big breath in. Exhale, slowly bring your knees into your chest. Now I'm going to have you roll off to your right side and just slowly remove all the props underneath. I'll move these out of the way for the camera. I think I had 3 or 4 pillows under there. And we're going to come into a half happy baby. So extend your left leg long. I want you to bend at your right knee. So draw your right knee up, kind of up towards your armpit, your outside shoulder, your right shoulder. And just hang out right here. Feel that stretch on your outer hip. Maybe you want to rotate out your ankle. That's great too. Keep your left leg straight. And then when you're ready, you can wrap your strap around your right foot. You don't have to if you don't want to, but reach up through the inside of your right leg. So my right hand is coming through the inside on the inside of my knee and then grabbing the outside of my right foot. So if that is a bit intense, if your hip doesn't like that, that is a-okay. Grab your ankle, your thigh. You can even hold right underneath your knee. Keep your knee bent that way. Basically, you want to keep your right knee bent and draw your right thigh to the outside down. I'll turn to the side so you can see it better on this side. So I'm right there. So my hand's coming up through the inside and grabbing the outside of my foot. If you'd like to support your left thigh, you're welcome to place your left thigh on something. If your arm starts to get tired, great opportunity to use your strap. Pull down. Just keep breathing. This is one of those times, and this is especially for me, one of those poses where I most assuredly, most definitely have to remind myself that the beauty of this pose is not in fact in the pose itself, but how I feel after the pose is done. Because as someone like myself who has really tight hips, this is a struggle for me. Tight hamstrings. So maybe you're thinking right now, I am sending every ounce of my breath, every ounce of my energy to my right hip right now. My right hip flexor, my right hamstring. And that's okay. You can. And maybe you can grab your ankle, your hamstring. Don't bring yourself to any point of pain. When you think about this pose is called Happy Baby. And I think everybody on here is either a mom or been around kids enough to know that when you see a little baby, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, this is like the pose they always go into when they're on their back. Who knows why? At some point or another, we all probably did too. And we were all probably able to reach up, grab the outsides of our feet, and probably suck our toes. Both of my kids were toe suckers at one point or another. And how weird is it to think now that this pose seems so unnatural, so odd, so forced, when it's really that's something that our body knew how to do innately. We weren't taught it. We lost it. So think about this as actually being something more natural than it is unnatural. One more big breath in. Exhale, go ahead and release. Woo. Stretch your right leg long. And then when you're ready, extend your right leg long. If you want to support under your right knee or thigh, you're welcome to do so. Then bring your left, bend at your left knee and draw your left knee up towards your armpit, your left shoulder. Just open it up. And when you're ready, take your happy baby on your left side. You do not have to take the same option with your hands and feet in this bind that you took on the left side. So if your left side is not as open, or conversely is more open and you can reach further, great. If your left side is not quite as open and you need to grab your hamstrings the whole time, do it. Listen to what your body needs. I say this every class, but I mean it. You are not a robot. Your body is not exactly the same on both sides. Honor the fact that you are an individual. You're different than me. You're different than the person sitting next to you. Your body is different on both sides. Continue with your big, deep breaths, your belly breaths, even as you're in here in this pose. Even as this pose might be a little bit uncomfortable for you, you're finding new depths for your hips, your hip flexors, your hamstrings. Continue to send your breath, your energy, your thoughts to those places in your body right now where you are feeling the most uncomfortable. And you are not opening up your hips. You are not opening up your hamstrings by force, but rather with gentle words, your breath. You're here for about 30 more seconds. Wherever you are, go ahead and release. Bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Lower your heels back to your back. Cactus out your arms. And twist your knees off to your left. Keep both shoulder blades heavy on your mat. Just breathe. Then inhale, bring both knees back up to center. Exhale, bring your knees back over to your right. Option to place a pillow between your knees for a little bit of extra support and comfort. We're going to go back to your left again so you can keep the pillow here. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. I've got the pillow. I'm just keeping it there. And then exhale to your left. We're going to hold it this time. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. If you've got your pillow, go ahead and remove it. Give yourself one more final squeeze. Draw your forehead in to meet your knees. Take out the biggest breath in of your day right here. And then exhale, Shavasana. I'll call you back in just a few. Extend your legs out long, your arms out to your sides. And I'll be back in just a few to call you back out of Shavasana. Slowly start to bring your thoughts back to your mat, back to the present right now. You don't have to move anything just yet. Do a scan of your body in its physical state right now, from your toes all the way up to the crown of your head, and take note of how you feel. And then turn your thoughts inward. Take note of how you feel. Mind, breath, spirit. Is there a difference when you started an hour ago and now? And it's maybe if you'd like to invite movement back into your body, wiggle your fingers, your toes, roll out your ankles, your wrists. And when you're ready, you can reach your hands up over your head. Take a full body stretch. And then exhale, turn your body to your right side for supported fetal position, tucking your knees in tight, resting your head on your bicep. Take a big breath in. Exhale, come on up to a seated position using your left hand as a support to come up. Draw your hands together. Your thumbs to third eye center, the space between your eyebrows and your forehead. It's our third eye chakra. It's our center of intuition, wisdom, of knowledge. That's where this place holds right here. And we put our thumbs here together in unison to say that we are here together collectively, although we're apart. We connect ourselves in mind and spirit and breath. And I am so grateful for every single one of you who showed up tonight. I'm so grateful for your time, your practice, your dedication to this Monday night Restore class, for doing it to the best of your ability, showing up just as your body dictates, with no force. The light in me sees, honors, and is so inspired by the light inside each and every single one of you. Namaste. Yay! Thank you all for coming. Have a great evening. Bye. Good night.